Hey students, welcome to Lab 4.12, the Acid Rain Lab. This is Mrs. Strombeck. I'm actually in my home, and you'll be doing this, of course, in your home as well. Let me, first of all, talk a little bit about safety. Have my not so matching gloves on. You can wear any color you want. These are in your K-12 kit. Folks, this is really important today. Make sure you have those gloves on. You have a set of goggles. These are my goggles. You have maybe a little bit different looking goggles. You have your K-12 apron. Boo-hoo, I never get that, but I do have my lab coat on. So really, the goggles, the gloves, and the apron today are going to be very important. They're going to be essential. All right, let's take a look at some of the other things you're going to be working with. In your kit, you should have an open package of beans. The reason I say open is because you should have planted some of them for an upcoming lab. We planted this a couple weeks ago. More on that later. But anyway, beans, they're probably Blue Lake beans, which germinate really fast. But whatever bean package you have, that's great. And then your lettuce seeds that you also have in your kit. They're really small, and I'll shake them there. You can hear them. If you, for some reason, don't have lettuce seeds, you can use any leftover radish seeds that you might have. So seeds. All right. Now let's look at your solutions. Actually, first of all, you will have some distilled water, probably in a bottle about this size. And I have to keep refilling my bottles. That's why I just kind of written my label, but your label is printed. You also have a bottle about this size with a printed label of mold inhibitor. And then you have smaller bottles, probably about this size. And again, I have to remix and make my own solutions. But pH 2 solution, pH 3, 4, and 5. And hopefully you remember, I'll talk a little bit more about this in Class Connect, but pH 2 is much more acidic than pH 4 or pH 5. All right, so the whole idea here is we're trying to figure out what happens if our acidic rainwater, due to the pollutants we put in the air, has any effect on the germination of plants, whether it's beans, lettuce, pine trees, your grass, whatever it might be. All right, and hey, I forgot to introduce my handy-dandy camera woman today. That would be Amanda, is back with us. She's in a good mood today. It's her birthday tomorrow. She's 16. I think she thinks she's getting a birthday present, so we'll see about that. Okay. More things that you will need that from your own house are oodles of paper towels, actually about 10. I try to use the little ones because I don't like wasting a lot of paper. And you will need to supply your own plastic bags. So Amanda, first of all, let's get a shot of your bags should be labeled. My bags are really big. This is just what I happen to have in my house. Maybe smaller bags or what you have, that's fine. Probably the smaller the better, the less waste. But anyway, I've labeled mine with a marker, and I don't know, Amanda, if you can get a shot of all the bags, but you're going to have 10 bags. A control bean, a pH 2 bean, a pH 3 bean, pH 4 bean, pH 5 bean. Same goes for your lettuce, and I've actually got my lettuce one started here. So you can see white paper towels. I've got my seeds already packed and ready to go for my lettuce. Okay, let's get started then real quickly. I got to get Amanda to school. All right. Find one bag, and you can count out 50 beans and lettuce seeds and put them in the same bag. I'm just reusing one of my K-12 bags because I like to reuse. All right. Then what you're going to do is take your mold inhibitor solution, looks like that, and open it up. And you're going to just, this is all the only lab you'll need the inhibitor solution for, so don't worry about using it all. And you're going to quickly cover these seeds with the inhibitor. I'm not real worried about mold where I live, and it's generally cool enough in Minnesota where it's not real hot and humid, but we just don't want mold growing on our seeds. That's going to ruin our experiment. So I've got these soaking here for 10 minutes, people, and abracadabra, voila, through flash forward illuminate, those 10 minutes have passed, and I have dumped my seeds out on the paper towel here. And actually I didn't dump all of them out, but you should have 50 beans and 50 lettuce seeds. Try to count out the lettuce as best you can. If it's a little awkward and it's not a perfect count, that's just fine as well. And I've got my ruler here that I used to swat students with. No, this is a metric ruler. You have one similar in your kit. Make sure when you start measuring, I'll talk about this in Class Connect, but we're using millimeters. That's the smallest little dashes on the metric side. Little lines right there. All right, let's get the show on the road here. Not too difficult to do, but let's figure out how we're going to set this up. You want to take your paper towel. Actually, your directions are pretty good here. Take your paper towel and you want to fold it a couple times, or if you want to fold it one more time, that's fine as well. And what you're going to do is stick it in, oh, I guess I have one in here already. Here's my pH2 Bean Lab, okay? Can you see that label? And what I am going to do is take my solution marked pH 2 and simply add it here to my paper towel as best I can. Now you can use about half of this because you're going to need the other half for the lettuce. Okay? And you're going to soak, soak, soak. If you have a lot of extra liquid, you can just simply, I'm not coming out very well. You can kind of swish it around just to make sure the entire paper towel gets nice and wet. If you have a lot of extra, you can just simply squeeze it and pour the excess out in your sink. This will be, the chemicals are diluted enough where it's okay to pour them down the sink. You just want to make sure you have your water running when you do that. Okay, now nice and saturated. This is my bean pH 2 bag. I added my pH 2 solution. Make sure you add the right one. It's nice and wet, and what I'm going to do now, see my label is wearing off a little bit, is I'm going to add 10 of my 50 beans that have been soaked in the inhibitor solution. I've counted out 10 here. Amanda, you're doing a great job with this. Hopefully my lighting's okay. Oh, and by the way, this is a bean seed, aka also known as a zygote, an embryo, a 2N organism, diploid. So exciting. It all ties in together. And now I'm just kind of putting them in here. I'm going to fold it one more time. And it's sealed in the bag. You don't add any more solution to it now. The only thing you're going to do is tomorrow you're going to measure that, and I will show you in Class Connect what germinated seeds look like. But you just leave it in here overnight. Tomorrow you'll wear your gloves, you'll unwrap the paper towels here and see if they've germinated. And again, I'll show you what a germinated seed looks like. So folks, you are going to do the same thing for pH 3 bean, 4 bean, and 5 bean. And I have already done the lettuce here, so Amanda, if you want to show that up close, lettuce seeds are ready to go. One other thing I got to comment on is the control. When you make up your control, I'm going to ask you in Class Connect, why are we doing a control? But that is not going to be a pH solution. I'm going to take my folded paper towel. I'm going to put it in my bag marked control, and that is where I add my distilled water. People, if you don't have distilled water, use tap. We do recommend distilled, but I don't think you need to make a special trip to get it. It's not going to have a huge effect. But if you use tap water, take note, because I'll want to hear about that in your discussion. So, with that, I am going to add my distilled water, which I can't seem to get open now. There we go. Just add a little, and again, the technique that works the best is squishing, squishing, squishing. Put my glove back on. And then with your control, you're going to add 10 more beans, because of course you do have to have the beans in them. But again, this one, nice and wet. I'm going to open it up, and I'm ready to put my beans somewhere into the interior folds of the towel. All right? Does that make sense? Amanda, does this make sense to you, even though you haven't read the lesson?
Yes.
Amanda says she could do that, so you can too. Now, when you've got all the bags set up, all the beans, and remember, here's the lettuce. The lettuce are a little bit painstaking to work with. You can get those put in a safe place, and you're going to measure them tomorrow and the next day and the next. Put them in a safe place. I'm going to put mine on top of the refrigerator. That's all for now, folks. Amanda's got to get to school. Have a great day.